Though we're only just a few months in, quite a few beloved entertainers have already passed on in 2025. Here's a complete list of everyone we've lost so far. Val Kilmer's daughter, Mercedes, revealed on April 1st that the Top Gun star had passed away from pneumonia. Kilmer was diagnosed with throat cancer in 2014, but did ultimately make a recovery, though a necessary tracheotomy permanently altered his voice and made it difficult for him to speak naturally. He was 65 at the time of his death. Throughout his career, Kilmer played everyone from Batman to Doors frontman Jim Morrison to Iceman in Top Gun alongside Tom Cruise, though he had starred in the comedies Top Secret and Real Genius before that. 1986's Top Gun was Kilmer's breakout film. His final credited role was in the 2022 sequel, Top Gun Maverick, in which he returned to play Iceman in a powerful scene which employed voice synthesis and an artificial intelligence to recreate his voice.
The Navy needs Maverick.
Upon news of his death, colleagues and fans shared numerous tributes to Kilmer. Many praised his standout supporting roles as Doc Holliday in 1993's Tombstone and as Chris in 1995's Heat. Michelle Trachtenberg began acting from a very young age, first making a big splash in 1994 as Nona on the Nickelodeon show The Adventures of Pete and Pete. That led to some big screen work as the title child sleuth in the 1996 movie Harriet the Spy. She continued working in Nickelodeon projects for several years before eventually transitioning to more adult roles. Trachtenberg gained a new set of fans when she joined the cast of Buffy the Vampire Slayer as Dawn Summers, the younger sister of the title character. She followed that up with another big screen turn in 2004's Eurotrip, before heading back to TV in 2008 on Gossip Girl as the scheming Georgina Sparks. Her other memorable film credits include Ice Princess and 17 Again. Trachtenberg's acting roles weren't as prominent in the 2010s and 20s, though she did appear in the web series Guidance and Human Kind Of, while also maintaining a public presence on social media. Then, on February 26, 2025, she died at the age of 39. Her cause of death wasn't reported, as her family declined to have an autopsy, although she had undergone a liver transplant not long before her passing. Sae Ron began her career as a child model before transitioning into acting in the 2009 movie A Brand New Life at the age of 9. As she continued acting, she mostly appeared in popular K-dramas and movies. Some of her best-known movie work included The Man from Nowhere and A Girl at My Door, but the small screen was where she spent most of her career. Some of Kim's notable K-drama credits include Leverage, Glamorous Temptation, and Bloodhounds, the latter of which was her final credit. In 2022, her career was effectively destroyed when she crashed her car while under the influence of alcohol, resulting in a conviction and a fine of about $14,000. She was then dropped from Bloodhounds and found herself unable to find any further work. Kim was then subjected to online harassment, which took a serious emotional toll on her. Without any acting work available, she worked at a cafe and largely faded from the public eye. She reportedly changed her name to Kim Ah-im and was planning on opening a business while attempting to return to acting. But sadly, her life ended tragically before she could complete that comeback, and she killed herself on February 16, 2025. She was only 24. Gene Hackman died on February 26, 2025, at the age of 95, alongside his wife, Betsy Arakawa, at their home in Santa Fe, New Mexico. The circumstances were considered suspicious by local authorities. It was eventually determined that he died around February 18th from heart disease and was complicated by Alzheimer's and liver disease, and that Arakawa died a week earlier from hantavirus pulmonary syndrome. Gene Hackman was one of the most acclaimed and respected actors of the 20th century. He began performing professionally in the 1960s after a 4-year stint in the U.S. Marine Corps and a few years at the University of Illinois.
Did you leave with an honorable discharge?
Just barely, yes. Yeah.
Hackman started out on the small screen on various shows before landing his first movie role in 1964's Lilith, although he also had an uncredited part a few years earlier as a policeman in 1961's Mad Dog Carl. His filmography would go on to span 5 decades and included several certified classics. His resume reads like a list of some of the most acclaimed movies of all time, as he delivered memorable turns in the likes of Bonnie and Clyde, The French Connection, The Conversation, The Poseidon Adventure, Superman, Hoosiers, Unforgiven, and The Royal Tenenbaums. Hackman received numerous awards and nominations over the course of his career, including a pair of Oscars for The French Connection and Unforgiven. He frequently appeared in multiple films per year until he retired in 2004 due to health reasons, following his final film that year, Welcome to Mooseport. Few actors enjoy the variety of roles that Lynne Marie Stewart played throughout her 6-decade career. She's probably best known for playing Miss Yvonne, aka the most beautiful woman in Puppetland on Pee-wee's Playhouse, a role that she originated on stage on the Pee Wee Herman Show. Stewart by no means limited herself to children's TV during her robust showbiz career, which began in the 1970s and included parts in movies like The Running Man and American Graffiti, as well as TV shows like MASH, Laverne and Shirley, The Golden Girls, and Night Court. To younger comedy nerds, she's probably best known for playing Bonnie Kelly, Charlie's mom, on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I don't like this speech. This speech is too graphic.
Off-screen, Stewart was heavily involved in the Make-A-Wish Foundation, alongside her longtime friend and collaborator, Paul Reubens, aka the man behind Pee Wee Herman. She died of cancer on February 21st, 2025, at the age of 78, after a tumor had been found near her liver and gallbladder the previous December. After her passing, her Always Sunny co-star Charlie Day posted a tribute on Instagram that read, "The brilliant and talented Lynne Marie Stewart. Rest in peace. Thank you for all the years of laughter." News broke on March 15th that Wings Hauser had died of natural causes at the age of 77. Wings' son, Cole Hauser, has become a megastar as Rip Wheeler on Yellowstone, but Wings himself had quite the varied career. He was so prolific, in fact, that Entertainment Weekly once referred to him as the biggest star you've never heard of. Wings appeared in the 1987 film Tough Guys Don't Dance, which netted him an Independent Spirit Award nomination for his performance, and also popped up in projects like Beastmaster 2, Through the Portal of Time in 1991, and The Stone Angel in 2007. His television credits include episodes of Magnum P.I., Murder, She Wrote, Roseanne, Beverly Hills 90210, House, Bones, and Criminal Minds. All in all, he had 115 credited roles. Cole didn't issue a statement about his father's death, but did talk about Wings in a 2021 interview with Cowboys and Indians magazine, saying, "I didn't really grow up with him, but when I moved out to LA, he let me live with him for a year, and we got to know each other a little then." Richard Chamberlain appeared in dozens of films and TV shows over his 60-year career, but arguably his biggest impact came in two miniseries, the original 1980 Shogun and The Thornbirds from 1983. News broke on March 30th that Chamberlain passed away the day before at the age of 90. He was survived by his longtime partner, Martin Rabbit. The two were living in Hawaii when Chamberlain suffered complications from a stroke. Chamberlain also appeared in shows including Gunsmoke, Will and Grace, and Nip Tuck, as well as films like 1970's The Towering Inferno. Fascinatingly, he also played Jason Bourne in a 1988 television adaptation of The Bourne Identity, 14 years before Matt Damon took on the role. Clive Revill was from New Zealand, but he often played British characters. For instance, he voiced Alfred in the early episodes of Batman the Animated Series.
That's rubbish. I know your father will be proud of you, because I'm so proud of you.
His biggest role, another voice-only effort, is largely lost to time. He provided the voice of Emperor Palpatine in the original release of The Empire Strikes Back.
There is a great disturbance in the Force.
That scene was reshot with actor Ian McDiarmid for later releases. Revill did plenty of on-camera acting too, though. He was actually handpicked by Sir Laurence Olivier himself to appear in the 1965 drama Bunny Lake is Missing. The same thing happened with Warren Beatty for the 1966 film Kaleidoscope. Many of Revill's credits are guest appearances on TV shows and small film roles, but he worked continuously up until his final appearance in 2016 in the film The Queen of Spain. Revill died at the age of 94 on March 11th. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the actor was diagnosed with dementia and passed away while living at a care facility in the Sherman Oaks neighborhood of Los Angeles. They may not have known his name, but fans of the 1997 Nickelodeon film Good Burger surely remember Jan Schweiterman. He played the movie's main antagonist, Kurt Boswell, the irritating owner and manager of Mondo Burger.
Unbelievable. 2 days ago, we had Good Burger crushed.
Schweiterman died on March 21st at the age of just 52. According to The Hollywood Reporter, his family broke the news and also revealed that Schweiterman had previously been diagnosed with cancer. Aside from Good Burger, Schweiterman appeared in a multi-episode arc on Felicity and on shows like McKenna and ER. At the time of his death, his last screen credit was a 2007 film titled Along the Way. Numerous outlets reported on March 6th that Pamela Bach, the former wife of Baywatch star David Hasselhoff, had passed away at just 62 years old. Bach and Hasselhoff were married from 1989 to 2006. In fact, they worked on Baywatch together. During that time, Bach also worked on the Canadian series Sirens and appeared on the soap opera The Young and the Restless in 2011. Bach also competed on Celebrity Big Brother in the United Kingdom. She was the second person evicted from the house. Authorities in Los Angeles ruled that Bach died by suicide at her home. On X, Hasselhoff wrote, "Our family is deeply saddened by the recent passing of Pamela Hasselhoff. We are grateful for the outpouring of love and support during this difficult period, but kindly request privacy as we grieve and navigate through this challenging time." Bruce Glover was another journeyman actor who had a son who became a breakout star, Crispin Glover. Crispin was the one to break the news about his father's March 12th passing in an Instagram post. Bruce's cause of death wasn't revealed, but he was 92 at the time of his death. Glover played the villain and assassin Mr. Wind in the James Bond film Diamonds Are Forever in 1971.
If at first you don't succeed, Mr. Kid, try again, Mr. Wind.
He also appeared in classic films including Chinatown, Hard Times, and Walking Tall. He showed up in Ghost World in 2001 as a character named Feldman, and he worked on TV shows like The Mod Squad, Gunsmoke, and The Dukes of Hazzard. Denis Arndt was a military pilot turned actor, so he understandably played a lot of military men and authority figures throughout his career. One of his biggest claims to fame was appearing in one of the most infamous scenes in film history, as one of the police officers interrogating Sharon Stone's Catherine Trammell in Basic Instinct. He also appeared on TV shows like Grey's Anatomy, Supernatural, and The Good Fight. But that's not all he was. Arndt also lent the 2015 play Heisenberg on and off Broadway, earning a Tony nomination for Best Actor in a play. Arndt passed away peacefully and at his home in Oregon at the age of 86 on March 25th. His family published a touching obituary the next day, writing, "He carried his brilliance, passion, and dedication into his second career as an actor, both on stage and on screen. His legacy, both on and off stage, will live on in the hearts of family, friends, and community members." Sian Barbara Allen was best known for her TV roles, such as her turn as Jenny Pendleton on The Waltons. She also appeared on Gunsmoke, Ironside, Columbo, and Marcus Welby MD. In fact, she only appeared in two films, 1972's You'll Like My Mother and 1974's Billy Two Hats. She got a Golden Globe nomination for New Star of the Year for the former. People reported that Allen passed away on March 31st at a home in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, due to complications from Alzheimer's. She hadn't acted since 1990, and her obituary revealed that Allen, quote, lived her final year of life in North Carolina, surrounded by all of her favorite things, new friends, and more time with her daughter, Emily, than she'd had in 35 years. She was 78 years old. David Johansen began his showbiz career as a singer in the legendary but short-lived New York glam rock band, the New York Dolls. He later reinvented himself under the pseudonym Buster Poindexter, which included a stint in the house band on Saturday Night Live. He made his way into acting in 1985 with a walk-on role on an episode of Miami Vice. Johansen didn't end up becoming a very prolific actor, though he did manage to secure a few memorable roles in a number of shows and movies. He's probably best known for playing the ghost of Christmas Past in 1988's Scrooged.
You see, I'm the ghost.
Johansen had to end his musical career in 2020 following a diagnosis of stage 4 cancer coupled with a brain tumor. Despite his prognosis, he survived for several years thereafter, though his health gradually declined. In November 2024, he broke his back, and a few months later, he died from his cancer on February 28, 2025. He was 75. Dame Joan Plowright began her acting career on the stage in South London in the 1940s. While she continued to work in theatre throughout her life, she certainly didn't remain there. Her feature film debut was an uncredited part in 1956's Moby Dick. The following year, she starred in the original London production of the play The Entertainer, alongside the legendary Laurence Olivier, whom she eventually married. Simply put, she was one of the most distinguished actors of her generation. Plowright acted in feature films of all genres, including animated movies like Curious George and Dinosaur, and live-action flicks like Dance With Me and Enchanted April, the latter of which earned her an Oscar nomination. She was a working actor for more than 60 years, winning a Tony Award, a couple of Golden Globes, and many other accolades along the way. Plowright retired from acting in 2014 due to macular degeneration, although she did appear a few years later in the 2018 documentary Nothing Like a Dame, also known as Tea with the Dames. She died on January 16, 2025, at the age of 95. Her family confirmed her death in a statement in which they said, "We are so proud of all Joan did and who she was as a loving and deeply inclusive human being.
If I'm lucky when I'm 60, there will still be a career going.
Long before she got into acting, Marianne Faithfull was one of the UK's most popular singers. Her 1964 single, As Tears Go By, helped her break through in the United States during the British invasion era. Over the course of her decades-long career, she released a string of hit songs and albums, earning a Grammy nomination along the way for her 1979 release, Broken English. Faithfull made the jump into acting in the 60s, appearing in TV shows, movies, and stage productions. She played Ophelia in a 1969 production of Hamlet and continued working in the theatre well into the 2000s. Her big screen credits included the likes of Marie Antoinette, The Girl from Nagasaki, and Dune Part 1 as a voice of the Bene Gesserit ancestors. Faithfull's last acting credit was as a narrator in the 2023 short film Wild Summer, which was shortlisted by the Oscars in the category of Best Animated Short Film. She died on January 30th at the age of 78, following many years of poor health brought on by substance abuse, heavy smoking, and other issues. She survived breast cancer and emphysema and nearly died from COVID-19 in 2020. Her cause of death was not made public. You might not recognize his face, but plenty of fans adored the work of George Lowe, a prolific voice actor and comedian who began his career in the 1980s. His first credited role is probably also the one he's most famous for, Space Ghost. Originally voiced by Gary Owens, Lowe took over the role of the animated superhero in 1994, when he was resurrected by Cartoon Network for Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Man, do I sound angry.
Of course, Lowe didn't limit his performances to a single character, as he also made his presence felt in the likes of Robot Chicken and American Dad. Outside of the recording booth, he was a frequent guest at conventions where he would sign autographs and take photos with fans. Lowe died in Florida on March 2nd, 2025 at the age of 67, while recovering from heart surgery a few months earlier. His longtime friend Marvin Boone posted a tribute on Facebook that read, "I'm beyond devastated. My Zobanian brother and best friend for over 40 years, George Lowe, has passed away after a long illness. He was a supremely talented artist and voice actor." After catching the acting bug at an early age, Leslie Charleson landed a role in the soap opera A Flame in the Wind. She then made her way over to another soap, As the World Turns, and followed that up with guest appearances on a variety of popular shows in the 60s and 70s. But she's probably best remembered for playing Monica Quartermain on another soap opera, ABC's General Hospital. When Charleson joined the cast, the show was on the decline, but she helped turn it around. Throughout her time on General Hospital from 1977 to 2023, she was nominated for various awards, including multiple daytime Emmys. Charleson died on January 12th at the age of 79. Before her passing, she experienced several falls, which limited her mobility and required hospitalization. In one of those incidents, she sustained blunt head trauma, which was also listed as the cause of her death. The General Hospital Instagram announced her passing the day she died and paid tribute to her nearly 50-year run on the show.
Monica, I'm so glad you're home.
Tony Slattery's acting career kicked off in the early 1980s when he joined his friend and fellow actor Stephen Fry in the University of Cambridge's popular sketch comedy troupe, the Cambridge Footlights. Other notable members of the Footlights have included Hugh Laurie and Emma Thompson. From that point forward, Slattery launched his wide-ranging career in TV. He's probably best known for his brilliant improv comedy skills that he displayed on the British version of Whose Line Is It Anyway, which he regularly appeared on throughout the 1990s. Outside of comedy, he landed roles in several notable drama films, perhaps most notably 1992's The Crying Game. Off-screen, Slattery had several mental and physical health issues, including bipolar disorder and a cocaine addiction that occasionally derailed his career. He got his life back together with the help of his friends, including Fry, who documented his pal's journey in Stephen Fry, The Secret Life of the Manic Depressive. Slattery died on January 14th at the age of 65, 2 days after having a heart attack. Fry gave him a lovely tribute on the BBC radio obituary series Last Word. English actor and TV personality Paul Danan got his big break as a series regular on the British soap opera Hollyoaks beginning in 1997. While he continued to act, he also delved into reality TV, including the first season of Celebrity Love Island in 2005. He returned for the second season of that show and then found his way to Celebrity Big Brother in 2017.
And then lots of celebrity stuff, and now here I am.
Throughout much of his career, Danan didn't play anyone other than himself. Off-screen, he dealt with various addictions to a variety of substances, which led to more than 10 stints in rehab by 2022. As a result, his health declined, and he nearly died from respiratory failure in 2024. He survived that incident, but sadly, not for long. On January 15th, 2025, he died at the age of 46, and in March, it was revealed that his death was caused by the combined effects of multiple drugs, including heroin and cocaine. Reliable character actors can disappear into just about any role without calling any undue attention to themselves. Peter Jason knew that perhaps better than anybody, as he played a wide variety of parts over the course of his nearly 60-year career that included more than 160 movies. He often played authority figures, such as members of the military or law enforcement. Some of Jason's noteworthy movie credits include 48 Hours, the 1995 version of Mortal Kombat, and Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. While movies make up the bulk of his resume, he clearly wasn't opposed to the small screen, as he popped up on nearly 100 different shows. A small sampling of his TV credits include the likes of Deadwood, NCIS, and Longmire. On February 20th, 2025, Jason died of cancer at the age of 80. His passing was followed by tributes from his many friends and collaborators, including director John Carpenter, whom he had worked with multiple times over the years. Billy Zane, his co-star in the 2008 movie The Man Who Came Back, wrote on Instagram, "My dear, dear friend, the brightest light, most generous soul, and gregarious of men, the supremely talented and kind Peter Jason has left the set." Born in New York City and raised on Long Island, Alice Hirson began her acting career on the stage before transitioning to film and TV, where she spent most of her career. She racked up a legion of credits over the course of her 70-year career, but she's probably best known for playing Mavis Anderson on the primetime soap opera Dallas. She also played Danny Tanner's mother on a couple episodes of Full House.
Oh, my angel. I love you.
Oh, come on.
Goodbye, sweetheart.
As for Hirson's big screen work, she popped up in the likes of Blind Date, Private Benjamin, and Revenge of the Nerds. She also did plenty of voiceover work for video games, including Murdered Soul Suspect and The Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim. And she never completely abandoned the theater, as she managed to deliver a few performances on Broadway. Hirson retired from acting in 2021, ending her career with nearly 90 film and TV credits to her name. On February 14th, 2025, she died of natural causes at the age of 95. Her son, Broadway playwright David Hirson, told The Hollywood Reporter that his mother primarily defined herself as a stage actor. He also noted that he was impressed by her ability to raise a family while pursuing a full-time profession that often involved long hours on set. Jan Shepard was a prolific character actor whose on-screen career began in the early 1950s. Much of her work was on various TV shows, primarily in single-episode stints. However, she was a series regular on the daytime soap opera The Clear Horizon, appearing in more than 250 episodes between 1960 and 1962. Besides The Clear Horizon, westerns made up the bulk of Shepard's career. She worked alongside several big-name co-stars, including 2 films with Elvis Presley, and she also showed up in B-movies like Attack of the Giant Leeches. She retired from acting in the early 1970s, having appeared in nearly 90 projects over the course of her career. Her last credited role was an episode of The Rookies in 1973. Shepard married fellow actor Ray Boyle in 1954, and they remained together until his death in 2022. On January 17, 2025, Shepard died at the age of 96 from pneumonia, brought on by respiratory failure. Her son, prop master Brandon Boyle, told The Hollywood Reporter, "She was a good one and will be dearly missed." Sometimes actors have healthy, successful careers that last decades without ever becoming a household name, and that was certainly the case with Biff Wiff. He started booking on-screen gigs in 1986 and consistently stayed busy while also mostly avoiding the spotlight. He ultimately appeared in over 60 TV shows and feature films, most often in minor roles, though he did play Santa Claus numerous times during his career. In 2021, Wiff made quite an impression on fans of alternative comedy when he appeared on the Netflix sketch comedy show I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson, and played, you guessed it, a profane Santa Claus.
Did anybody tell you anything? I told your producers, do not mention Christmas or that I do it at all.
Wiff's other TV appearances included both the original and the rebooted Night Court, as well as Roseanne, Roswell, and Desperate Housewives. As for his big screen roles, Wiff managed to land a gig on the Oscar-winning Everything Everywhere All at Once. He continued acting well into 2024, after having been diagnosed with cancer the previous year. On February 12, 2025, he died from the disease at the age of 76. If you've ever watched any of Woody Allen's movies from the 1960s or 70s, then there's a pretty good chance that you're familiar with Tony Roberts. He was a frequent collaborator with Allen, appearing in 6 of his films, including Annie Hall and Stardust Memories. Roberts began his professional acting career in the early 60s, appearing on various TV shows before transitioning to the big screen in 1971's The $1 Million Duck. Soon thereafter, Roberts found himself on Allen's radar, which included appearing in both the Broadway production and film version of the writer-director's Play It Again, Sam. In addition addition to his work with Allen, Roberts also scored roles in other notable 70s flicks like Serpico and The Taking of Pelham 123. He was also a frequent guest star on TV and performer on the New York stage, earning 2 Tony nominations along the way. Additionally, he was frequently in demand for his voiceover work, which included narrating the 1994 audiobook productions of the original Star Wars trilogy. Roberts worked only sporadically in the 2000s and 2010s, appearing in a handful of movies and shows during that time. The 2017 TV movie remake of Dirty Dancing was his last credited on-screen appearance. He died from lung cancer on February 7th at the age of 85. Bill Byrge was a character actor who spent nearly the entirety of his career working alongside Jim Varney, as he played Bobby in Varney's various Ernest P. Worrell projects. Byrge's first on-screen role was 1985's Dr. Otto and the Riddle of the Gloom Beam as a gas station attendant. He followed that up with Ernest Saves Christmas, a TV series, Hey Vern, It's Ernest, and 3 more Ernest films in the 90s.
Oh, Bobby.
After the Ernest franchise ended with Varney's passing in 2000, Byrge returned to his prior work as a librarian. He also later appeared in one direct-to-video film when he played Bobby again in Billy and Bobby the Wacky Duo on Vacation. He also popped up in several music videos and theater productions, but remained largely absent from the spotlight otherwise. He died at his home in Nashville, Tennessee on January 9th at the age of 86. Before transitioning into acting, Peter Navy Tuiasosopo made a name for himself on the gridiron. He played college football as a center for the Utah State Aggies, and then he was signed in 1987 as an undrafted free agent by the St. Louis Cardinals, before being picked up by the Los Angeles Rams. He was cut later that season by the Rams and tried to make it onto a team for the next 2 years with little success, but then he managed to make his way over to showbiz, starting with the 1991 football comedy Necessary Roughness. Over the next few decades, Tuiasosopo popped up in everything from Street Fighter to Charlie's Angels to New Girl and Ray Donovan. He also appeared in a number of high-profile franchises, with gigs in the likes of The Scorpion King, Austin Powers and Goldmember, and The Fast and the Furious. Throughout the 21st century, most of his work was on the small screen, with his last credit being a 2021 episode of Magnum P.I. On February 10, 2025, Tuiasosopo died from heart complications at the age of 61. His son Manoa shared the news of his father's passing on Facebook, writing, "With a heavy heart, my family and I want to thank everyone for their thoughts and prayers. My dad lived an amazing life, and in no way does his impact stop there. We will continue to live with him in spirit, and as saddened as we are, he is without a doubt in heaven with his brothers, sisters, parents, daughter, and Jesus, and no longer in pain." Raised in Montana, the Spanish-born American actor Francisco San Martin launched his professional acting career on the soap opera Days of Our Lives in 2010. He went on to appear on another soap, The Bold and the Beautiful, as well as 7 episodes of the CW's Jane the Virgin, a parody of telenovelas. In a 2016 interview with AfterBuzz TV's Dishin' Days, San Martin spoke about his time on Days of Our Lives, as he revealed, "I grew up watching Days, which was crazy. When I was living in Montana when I was a kid from the age of 5 to 13, I would watch Days all the time. I got such a kick out of it. I was pretty young, but I would watch it every time I got back from school."
Were you starstruck at all when you got on set?
A lot.
San Martin's last on-screen credit was a short film, Dot, in 2022. He died by suicide on January 16, 2025. He was only 39. Lee Joo-Sil was a South Korean actress who was the most popular in her native country, but she made a worldwide splash when she appeared on Season 2 of Netflix's Squid Game as the mother of police officer Hwang Jun-ho, and that was just one credit in a long career that began in the theater in 1965 and included productions of Shakespeare's Macbeth and Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman. Lee was also a frequent player in various K-dramas, including Someday, Loving You 1,000 Times, and many others. Her big screen credits include popular Korean films like Train to Busan, Commitment, and Black House. Squid Game was the final credit of her 60-year career. Breast cancer nearly cost Joo-Sil her life in the 1990s, though she survived and continued acting until she was diagnosed in 2024 with stomach cancer, which was the ultimate cause of her passing. She died at her family home on February 2nd, 2025 at the age of 80. Bob Uecker wasn't a full-fledged actor, as showbiz was more of a side gig for him. Instead, he started out as a professional baseball player with the Milwaukee Braves in 1956. He also played for the Cardinals, Phillies, and Braves again, who had moved to Atlanta before retiring and going on to serve as a play-by-play announcer for the Milwaukee Brewers, a job he held for 54 seasons. Mr. Baseball, as he was affectionately known, began acting in the 1980s on the ABC sitcom Mr. Belvedere.
So you coming or what? Well, it beats ironing your shorts. I'll get my coat.
Uecker also played himself or variations of himself in several movies and TV shows, perhaps most notably in the Major League movies, where he played the announcer Harry Doyle. He continued acting into the 21st century, especially voice work on animated shows like Futurama, Teen Titans Go, and Monsters at Work. In 2023, Uecker began receiving treatment for small cell lung cancer, which he and his family kept private until his passing on January 16, 2025, at the age of 90. The Milwaukee Brewers mourned his death on social media and shared his family's announcement of his passing on X, as they wrote, "It is his kindness, humility, and love for family and friends that we will hold closest to our hearts." If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, help is available. Call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org.